Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms. These are Charter Moms chats, and enrollment season is in full swing. Today, we're featuring Founders Classical Academy of Schertz, and the team to talk with us about Founders. So next to me on the screen is Kelly Hunt, and she's the headmaster of Founders Classical Academy of Schertz. And then below me on the screen is Dawn Willitt, and she's the assistant headmaster of Founders Classical Academy of Schertz. So Kelly and Dawn, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us. We're excited.
Yeah. Okay. So for folks, I know, so Founders, I remember when it opened, I was like so excited, and now y'all are already grown up to 12th grade, and but I'm sure there's still people in the area who have not heard about Founders Schertz yet. So can one of y'all explain like the mission and vision of Founders Classical Academies?
Absolutely. So we are one of many founder schools all over the state. There are several in Dallas and in Arkansas and in Austin. So we are part of a big group of families of schools, and we're really happy about that. We support one another. But our name comes from the mission of our founding fathers. So that's where that started. And our mission is to educate for freedom, which is an idea that originated with them when they were starting our country. And they believed that to maintain the individual liberties that they fought so hard for and to maintain a free society, citizens need to be well educated. And not only that, they need to have virtue. So we take those principles and we have a curriculum and a school basically that is committed to helping complete that mission, make it better as we go forward. And we want to prepare our students to contribute to a free society when they leave our school. So our academic program points our students to the true, the good, and the beautiful, which is all over everything that we have. And so we teach the 7 liberal arts. We use those methods to teach, which we'll talk about more later. But there's 4 main virtues that we focus on: prudence, temperance, fortitude, and justice. And then, of course, those 4 culminate into a life of charity. So that is the basis of where we start with our students.
Yeah. So I just want to kind of echo some of the key points of what you said. So the name, like Founders in the name, is referring to founding fathers, and the idea is that we need well-educated citizens, educated in like understanding and appreciating American history, and educated in these virtues, so they can be like productive citizens and be good people, because that's what's going to allow us to hopefully keep a free society.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we're hoping to instill in every student that comes through our doors. So we're very excited about the opportunity when we get new students. And then, of course, the ones that have been here, they've been indoctrinated. So they help with that mission as well.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so, well, I was wondering, can y'all explain like what some of the benefits are of when you choose like a classical education curriculum? Because there are other schools that also have like a classical or traditional approach, and it's been really fun for me to watch this movement grow, because I think I first heard about classical education when I was applying for college, and I found out that there are great book schools and you can get a liberal arts education. It's not necessarily pigeonholing you into a particular career, but it's to prepare you to be have all this background information and also be like great questioning and problem solving and things like that. So so can y'all talk more about classical education and what that means?
Yes, like Mrs. Hunt was saying, at Founders, we focus our instruction on teaching our students through virtue, through the curriculum, promoting those things that are good and true and beautiful, as she was saying. We read classic literature with themes that have endured over time during our history instruction. We focus on the virtue or the lack of virtue that historical figures have displayed over time so that we can learn from their choices. In science, we focus on the fortitude and determination that scientists displayed in order to make the discoveries that they've been able to make over time. And in math, we see the undeniable evidence of absolute truth. And in music and art, we get to celebrate beauty. And so that's part of how we kind of use our curriculum to focus on those things that are good and true and beautiful. And then also part of our mission is to prepare students to become active and knowledgeable members of society. So promoting civic virtue. So the struggles that our country is facing today are multifaceted, and a lot of them can stem from things that happened over 100 years ago. And so by equipping our students with a thorough knowledge and understanding of history, we believe that that's vital for addressing the challenges that we face in our country today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's really helpful. Like, you're connecting, like, right, the sort of the cause and effect, right? It's like what we want students to learn, and then how we hope they apply that in their lives. So actually, Dawn, I want to send the next question to you as well, because like the right, so Founders Schertz covers all the way from kindergarten to 12th grade. But I was wondering if you could first talk about, like, at the grammar school level, what are some of those foundational things that you teach kids?
Absolutely. When you hear the term grammar, a lot of times you think of correct punctuation and writing, a subject and verb in a sentence, and those things. And those are definitely a very important part of our curriculum. But we actually are focusing in the grammar school on learning the structure of the world, structure of knowledge. So they're learning how the basic foundational pieces of every part of the curriculum, so that then they can take those and apply them and dig deeper into them as they get into the older grades. So in grammar school, we want to build that foundation of knowledge across disciplines and understand the structure of language, of math, science, and of virtue, so that our students can build on those ideas and learn to think independently as they move to the secondary grades. So the foundation of our grammar school curriculum is a multisensory explicit phonics program that promotes early and fluent reading and understanding of the English language and spelling patterns. So generally, a lot of times when students go to a grammar school classroom, they'll learn sight words. And I think there's actually a shift that's going back to a phonics education that's happening right now, but we've been doing this for several years now. And so we teach them 72 spelling patterns that we call phonograms. And they can use those to spell thousands of words instead of only being able to spell the 100 words that they've done in their spelling patterns, but in their spelling words. So we use them to teach them these basic foundational patterns that they can use to mix and match, so to speak, to make all these words. And so they are able to learn so many more words. They're able to learn word attack strategies. So then when they come across unfamiliar words, they know how those sounds work in a word. We also begin presenting Greek and Latin roots starting in 4th grade to help them to better understand the roots of our language. Our language is actually a combination of so many different languages. And so being able to understand all the different things that added together to be a part of that language is really helpful. Our kindergartners can find subjects and verbs in a sentence. So it's a part of our literacy program is even early on, they're starting to analyze sentences and understand how sentences work. And so they do that. And the sequence helps them to become more proficient in analyzing sentences that they do all throughout grammar school. In 4th grade, that sequence adds the skill of diagramming sentences. So they're doing diagram sentences. A lot of people didn't do that until they were in college and high school. And so our 4th graders are already kind of starting those skills, and it helps them to understand language so much better. And then we expose them to beautiful language and structure so that their own compositions are also elevated. As I mentioned earlier, we read enduring literature in the classrooms, kind of like you were saying with the great books. So in grammar school, some of the books they read are Charlotte's Web, Peter Pan, The Jungle Book, The Princess and the Goblin, Robin Hood, Treasure Island, Johnny Tremaine, The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, The Secret Garden, and many more. So they're exposed to beautiful literature at a young age, and we use that literature to, again, point them to virtue. We want to help them with everything that we're teaching them. We're trying to point them to the virtues that we can learn from those things. We use Dimensions Math, which is a Singapore model that focuses on building comprehension of math processes, creates a strong understanding of place value, and teaches students to become problem solvers. In history, we use the core knowledge sequence, which focuses on world history in the first semester, and of course, American history in the second semester. and it's sequential. So they're getting to learn these concepts as kind of over time, how time has developed. And then for science, we use a combination of the core knowledge, Sciencesaurus, and FOSS-Kits experiments to present a body of knowledge to students and to create a sense of wonder. So we want to help them have a lot of experiences with science experiments and things like that to be able to really get excited about learning.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's and I just want to like comment like that. This is just in grammar school, right? So it's like we haven't even talked about secondary yet. Yeah, and so I hope that like I feel like it makes me want to ask follow-up questions, but I know we have like so much else to cover. But I just want to encourage folks, like if you're excited about hearing about what Dawn is talking about, like folks should definitely go on a school tour or go to an information session, and then you can ask those follow-up questions, right? Because so we have some real curriculum nerds in our Facebook group, and I'm sure that they would have lots of questions about dimensions and core knowledge and things like that. But
Absolutely.
And I get very excited about the explicit phonics instruction because I feel like that is just it allows so many more kids to become proficient readers at a young age, and then they're able to take in knowledge, and that it's a virtuous cycle that helps them be stronger readers because they have more background knowledge, and then they feel so powerful to be able to tackle any text and be able to decode it for themselves and access so much knowledge, and that's what's so powerful about building strong readers.
Mm-hmm. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask Kelly to speak more about the secondary school curriculum.
Yes, so we use the trivium, which is that grammar, logic, rhetoric approach. And so Dawn was talking about the grammar school. We focus on that foundation of learning. And then as they get into middle school, we push them more to think logically. And we're doing that in grammar, but it's a heavier emphasis in middle school, which is really important for middle school students, logic. But they struggle with that sometimes. But really that problem-solving skill, and then learning to think for themselves. And then in high school, we teach them rhetorical abilities. So how to articulate all those ideas that they've learned and then created their own ideas that they take into the world according to our mission, of course. And so we use those classic stories, just like Dawn was talking about, but of course, get more rigorous as they get older. In ninth grade, we study ancient literature. So they read the Odyssey, the Iliad, the Oresteia, all those books. And that lines up with our history curriculum. So in ninth grade, we start with ancient history, ancient literature, and then 10th grade is medieval. And then they do American in 11th grade, and then modern European in 12th. So it's chronological, it's multidisciplinary, and they really can delve into those time periods and that culture and learn as much as they can. And that's very exciting for them. They feel like they've accomplished so much by studying these very difficult, these works, but we help bring it down to their level. And of course, when students get older, they want to know when are they ever going to use this information? And we understand that, but our math and science programs are really focused on virtue and on teaching them to be humble and learning that there's something so much bigger than them in the world around them. And so it's knowledge for knowledge's sake and not just for its application. The applications of math and science change over time. My background is in STEM, so I love it, but the applications change. The virtue that students learn from math and science are universal. And so we really focus on that in those classes. And we want to teach them to look for the truth and the beauty in the world around them. And science and math are the perfect way for that. We have a large emphasis on the arts, and so our students take orchestra in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They're required to learn a stringed instrument, and they end up loving it, even if at first it's not their favorite. They really enjoy that experience, and then they can choose to do more in high school. Our students study art and music all the way from kinder through 8th grade, and then they have just 1 year in high school at a minimum. One of the things that's unique about our middle school and high school program is that we don't have a heavy emphasis on technology. So there's not a lot of distractions in the classroom. They actually have to write notes with a pen and paper, and they don't have iPads or computers at school other than for testing or essay writing. But generally, there's less distractions with cell phones. Those are not allowed in the classroom, and a lot of parents really appreciate that. There's plenty of electives. We don't have as many as a large ISD school, but we're very intentional about the ones we choose. So we have things like personal finance. We used to have a Dante class, and if there's interest, we try to do things like that. They actually take a logic, rhetoric class and a composition class. We teach them philosophy so that they can learn to articulate all these things that we're teaching them. And our curriculum starts to go into Socratic questioning more and more as they get older, so they learn how to discuss with each other and still be respectful as they fight for what they believe is right. We want our students to learn to think and to leave our school knowing that there's truth. And we may not tell them what that truth is, but we want them to leave knowing that there's something worth pursuing as they get older.
Yeah, well, it's so important to teach them those skills because, like you said about like applications of STEM, the world is always changing. So, like 10 years ago, AI seemed so far away, right? And then now it's like it's the hot thing that everyone's talking about. But but you still can't go away from those ethics questions, right? Like how do we use this responsibly, right? Why do we don't use it to cheat on our essays, right? Is AI going to become our overlord, right? So those are questions that like in the in the forum or in the right that people would have understood those types of those moral debates. Those are timeless, but right. That's why we need to think more towards virtue, not just, hey, how can I build the best AI, but like, how do we respect human life and use this responsibly?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So, you guys have both given a great overview of the grammar school curriculum and the secondary school curriculum. And so that's, gives a lot of information about academics. Again, I encourage families, go on a tour or go visit the campus and ask questions, and you can find out even more about the specifics of the curriculum. But I've been so impressed over the years as Founders Schertz has developed a really distinctive school culture. And there's, things like, I can't even, I'm sure I'm not up to date, but like lots of clubs and lots of sports and, so much parent support from the Hoplite Council. And so maybe, Dawn, can you start by talking about like, what are some of those special activities that the grammar school students get to participate in?
Yeah. One teacher told us that the one word he would use to describe our school would be the word intentional. And so we've put a lot of energy and thought into creating an environment in the school that's structured. We teach students to sit quietly and listen to their teacher. Our classes walk through the hallway quietly in straight lines. If you were to walk into one of our classrooms during literacy, you would see what looks almost like a choreographed dance in which the teachers tell the student a word and the class repeats the word in unison and then proceeds to tell the teacher the phonograms that make the word and which markings that they need to use in that word. And so, but other times we ask the students to think deeply about the content that they're learning and ask questions. As I mentioned before, we want to create a sense of wonder in our students. The sense of wonder leads to a love for learning and a body of lifelong learners. In addition to the daily curriculum, each quarter, the grade level plans a curriculum celebration, which highlights something they've learned about and gives them an opportunity to experience it in a more hands-on manner. This is an opportunity for room parents to collaborate with the classroom teachers and plan fun activities that align with the classroom. Some of the curriculum celebrations we've done in the past include a medieval tournament, a petting zoo that was for Charlotte's Web, a treasure hunt, grape shooting catapults, a science fair, and many more activities that we've done during these curriculum celebrations that have been a lot of fun. We also offer many after-school co-curricular activities, including things like chess, etymology, husbandry, archery. We have a Harry Potter reading group. We've had choir in the past and horticulture. For these activities, we have an archery range, a chicken coop, and gardening boxes in the backfield. And the students have really enjoyed doing that. This year, we added the Future Cities competitions as well.
Wow, that's so much. I love getting the updates. Yeah, so I guess for folks who haven't been out to the campus, like there's kind of a floodplain behind the school, right? And that's where like the chicken coop is, and I guess is that where the archery practice is back there?
Yes, yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, but it's great that y'all have like so much open space, and you put it to really good use. Yeah, no, it's fun too how like every year it's a little different, right? Depending on what the students are interested in and what the faculty want to do.
Yes. Yeah, our offerings are based on, what the faculty and staff want, are interested in offering that year. Sometimes students have requested certain activities, and so they've done that. And we have some activities that are for older students and some that are for younger students. So one of the ones that the high schoolers do is Ultimate Frisbee. So the students have really enjoyed that. There's a little bit of a physical activity that's not necessarily one of the sports.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, Kelly, I was wondering if you could talk more about the school culture at the upper school. And I think what Dawn mentioned about the behavior expectations that, acting with decorum, like that continues into the high school, right?
Yes, definitely. We teach our students how to have manners and how to be gentlemen and ladies. And so we do things like etiquette dinners, and we have prom, and we do a swing dance. And one of the things that is unique is we hire dance instructors to help teach our students how to dance before they go, so that they know what they're doing. And they just absolutely love that. It's one of those things at first they may not be into, but by the time they're done, they have a new appreciation. And so they get outside of their comfort zone, and it's really fun to watch. And we have athletics starting in 6th grade. We have sports all year round, different things: volleyball, soccer, cross country, basketball, lots of different sports. And being a smaller school, our students have more of an opportunity to participate than they would at a different school. So that's really nice to have. And as we've grown and gotten bigger, our students have taken more leadership roles in NHS, National Honor Society, and Student Council, and they started planning many of our events. So they've changed over the years, and they're different every year depending on what they want to do. They may do tailgates or movie nights, bonfires. We have a big bonfire pit in the back. So they just have a great time, and they love being on our campus, and that makes us really happy. They participate in a house system starting in 6th grade. So they get to be put in a house, and then those houses do different service projects and spirit events together, and they compete monthly for points, and they have a wonderful time. We take our juniors and seniors to Europe every year. So that's another really neat opportunity for our kids. Not all of them participate, but it is just a great experience for them. It culminates all of those wonderful things they've learned in history throughout their high school career. So we try to give them as many opportunities as possible to get outside of their small world and to learn about the world around them, so that they're prepared when they leave.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know about the trip to Europe. But y'all haven't had juniors and seniors for that many years. So
no, we've only done one so far. So this year will be our second trip.
Yeah. No, that's really exciting. Yeah. Okay, so also too, like the fact that the students are organizing, the leadership opportunity for like NHS, and like it's so important to let students like start to stretch and take responsibility, express their ideas, and then whether it succeeds or doesn't meet their expectations, it's on them, right? But they get to learn from it.
Yes, it's a great experience. And they've been volunteering in the community a lot more too now. With that leadership role they show at school, they're more confident to go out. And so they've done a very good job in the city of Schertz, especially representing the school.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I know even from the very beginning, there's been really strong parent support, right? So like the Hoplite Council is, I think, a really important part. So can you talk about like what role they play and how they've supported the school?
Yes, the Hoplite Council from the very beginning has been a wonderful group of parents that have helped with the funding gap with charter schools. So they do a lot of our fundraising for us. They plan our family events, and they just jump in for anything we need. So we can call them and say, hey, we need some volunteers for this event, and they are there. And they just have been a huge blessing for the school. They especially help with our athletic events when we want to try and give more opportunities to students. And so they'll help with those things. They do a bingo night. They do our fall festival. So a lot of things to help bring our families together. They're very good at that. And we're just very thankful. So they'll give us ideas on how to help improve our campus. So we are right next to a really big neighborhood where parents will walk their students over to our school. So they've helped improve some of our facility requirements there. So they've just been great.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I think that's something that, like you said, charter schools are smaller schools, but, if the parents are really engaged, then really wonderful things can happen. And then it really feels like a family because everybody gets to know each other.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we've covered all of the like the academics and the culture and like parent involvement and things like that. So, but I want to make sure that we explain to folks like how they can get more information, how they can apply, like what's up with open enrollment. Because for people who are new to charter schools, like they sometimes don't realize like there's a limited number of seats. And so, your best opportunity is to apply during open enrollment, which is happening right now.
Yes.
Yes. You can learn more about our school and classical education by visiting our website, which is foundersschertz.com. You can also apply for enrollment there on our website. You want to make sure you select the correct year. We are still accepting applications for the current school year, but you'll need to apply each year until you're offered a seat. So as we have limited seating available, we can't offer a seat to everyone who applies. So you want to make sure you apply like Inga said, during the open enrollment period and apply early. Our yearly applications open around November. So each year it opens around November and for the following school year. Once you've applied, you can also go on our website to go sign up for a tour. So like Inga was saying, we have tours, I think every other week on Tuesday mornings. And so you can come to the school and go around to the classrooms with us, and we'll answer any questions that you have, and you'll get to see some of the classrooms in action.
Yeah. I just want to echo what Dawn said. Like going on a school tour is a great opportunity because you can, there's so many myths and misinformation about what charter schools are about. And I think when people actually come and visit a campus, they can just see how much joy there is, right? Like, we all talked about like the, celebrations that are they're not just like random holiday parties, like they're tied in with the curriculum, right? So they're still educational. You're using the time well, but there's so much joy on campus, right? And kids are having sports and these co-curricular activities, and they're playing their instruments and creating art, and so there's discipline, but there's also joy on campus. And I think when families can visit, they can see that. And then it's easier for them to imagine their kids, enjoying a classical education and then reaping those benefits, becoming these, adults who have, self-restraint, but also a sense of humility and service, and, understanding the importance of what it means to be an American citizen, and, what we can give back to our country.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So just to recap, so the website, foundersschertz.com. So for anyone who can't see the screen, if you're on the podcast, it's Founders, Founders, and then Schertz is the name of the city. So it's Schiertz. Good German name there. and open enrollment started in the beginning of November. So we're at the end of November right now, and applications continue through February 1st. So it doesn't matter when in that period you get the application in. The important thing is to get it in before February 1st. So you might as well just do it today, right? It's so easy.
And then the lottery happens in February, and that's when we offer those seats for next year.
Right. And that's when our Facebook group kind of explodes, because everybody's got questions about waiting lists and lotteries and things like that. So, but I hope families can, hope they're excited about what they've learned about Founders Schertz, and they're curious and they want to come, and do a school tour and find out if it's right for their kids.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You as well.